Next time.
This is Smooth 98.1. Love music, love life. On a Monday morning, it's 33 minutes past 6 a.m. on the Smooth Breakfast. This is your perfect start to your day and your morning as well. Ayokunmi right here with ready to take you into the world of business. This is Business Express. This morning, we're going to be talking about soaring fuel costs, and of course, Nigerians struggle to balance transport and survival. I kind of alluded to this earlier on that this is where we are going with the conversation this morning because I mean, this is something that Nigerians are dealing with. I don't know who you might be or where you are. One way or another, the soaring fuel costs have definitely affected you somehow and in some way. And we're going to look at things from a transportation point of view, which is absolutely mental right now for those who go out to work every single day or every other day. You know how the costs have changed since before the fuel price increase and right now. This morning on my way to the office, there were so many people at the bus stop. Even at that early time of the day, it was absolutely ridiculous. But anyways, joining me to talk about this is Daisy Erharhire. She is POS and Business Banking Team Lead at Raven Bank. Very good morning to you, Daisy. Great to have you in.
Good morning, Lagos. Good morning, Aya. Great to be here again.
All right, absolute pleasure to have you on. For all our amazing listeners out there joining on the conversation. Share your thoughts and experiences as well. We'd love to hear how you have been dealing and surviving in this beautiful economy of ours at this point in time. WhatsApp number remains 0809 444 0981. 0809 444 0981 is the WhatsApp number. You can also join us on YouTube. We're streaming live. It's at Smooth 981 FM Lagos. Smooth 981 FM Lagos. Okay, Daisy, let's take this from this perspective. I mean, looking at transport fares skyrocketing, if there's a word to even should I say buttress that point even further, I would use it. But I think skyrocketing is what I'll use at this point in time. I mean, what do you think is the most difficult part of commuting every single day if you go out and about?
Okay, so I think the most difficult part about commuting every day is having to wake up and realizing that for me, I would say if you are probably budgeted that you're going to spend 10,000 naira for transportation, and you already planned that out for the week or for the month, and you wake up every morning and the next thing you're hearing is that there is an increase in transportation all of a sudden, thus affecting, your budget for the week or budget for the month. And that in turn obviously takes a toll in your other budgets as well that you've laid out for the week, which is becoming crazy, right? I mean, for income earners,
Mm,
you're budgeting 40K for transportation, and maybe for some reason it increases to 60K, and um this
right.
your salaries are not increasing, right? And of course, this affects, your feeding, because at the end of the day, or when the prices increase on transportation, automatically affects a lot of things. So mentally, it's disturbing that you have
Definitely.
to wake up every morning and always have to readjust. You cannot comfortably wake up and say, "Oh, this is what you're going to be working with for this day." And of course, that also rolls down into budgeting for your food expenses and the rest. So for me, I think, yeah,
Mm.
that's mentally it's stopping that you cannot work with a budget anymore like before. And of course, imagine what the low earners, how they are surviving on a daily basis. So yeah, it's really taking a strain on our finances basically.
The strain off on our finances and of course on our psyche as well. Like you said, I mean, not being able to at least plan ahead in terms of okay, I'm going to work 3 days, 4 days, 5 days in a week. I would spend X amount, but now it's all at the mercy of the transport workers out there. Today it's one thing, tomorrow it's one thing, and
Yeah.
it's not as if the costs are even low to start with. So it's just a tough one. I'm talking about transport workers. I mean, let's talk about the e-hailing yeah, drivers. Now, I've heard that they are renegotiating fares off app. I mean, of course, normally for those who take the e-hailing rides, out there. There's a cost or there's an estimate on the app that you see before the ride is accepted and confirmed. But now the drivers looking at those amounts, because out of that amount, the company will take a cut before they get their own cut and all that. So now they're renegotiating the fares off app, kind of going back to the days of irregular taxis and so on and so forth. I mean, how sustainable do you think this approach is for both the drivers and the passengers as well? Because passengers use these apps because, okay, there's an estimate that they already have, so they don't need to do any negotiation, as it were. But it doesn't seem to be paying the drivers. Definitely not.
Uh, I don't think it's going to be sustainable for so long, really. Interestingly, like okay, the negotiating part of the transport fare service, it's not really new. I mean, we have back then we used to have like some drivers that would always negotiate your fare depending on how far you're going. Recently, it was so bad that when I went to Port Harcourt recently, the drivers renegotiate your price, and usually it's supposed to come with some kind of comfort, AC, air conditioned environment and all that.
Mm-hmm,
Even when they
mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
renegotiate the price to you, they turn off that AC. And I'm like, okay, if I'm going to be paying 5K instead of 3K, at least still allow me to enjoy the comfort that comes with. But then I don't blame them, right? Because if you were buying fuel worth 40K, which is enough to fill your tank for like over more than 3 times, currently it doesn't even 40,000 naira cannot even fill your tank, like cannot fill your tank. Previously, you could fill your tank 3 times at the rate of 40,000 naira. But now it cannot even fill your tank.
Mm.
So you really can't blame them because literally one trip for them is enough to just buy maybe 2 liters worth of fuel, right? And like I said, for us, if we're seeing that, oh, this is 4,000 naira, and you call your Uber guy and he tells you, oh no, I cannot go for 4,000 naira, I'm going for 6K. That also even, of course, it's not only taking a strain in your finance at that point, it's also
Mm-hmm.
consuming time for you because you have to rebook it again, have to start negotiating and maybe find someone who's contributing enough to be like, okay, you know what, fine, let's go with your price. But we cannot keep doing this for so long, right? We can't keep doing this for so long. Um, I'm praying and hoping that government, and we've got the government and other bodies involved look into the situation because if we keep at this, I'm not sure where we're heading to at that point, right? Maybe obviously some of us
Right.
that used to take book rides to our destinations will have to resort down to taking public transport. And if we resort down to taking public transport, to just mean more people at the bus stop, right? Struggling to get buses. And obviously when bus drivers sees that kind of rush, they always want to increase their prices as well. So it's not
Definitely.
sustainable. It's not sustainable and it's really crazy. I must say it's really not sustainable.
Definitely. Now, talking about transport, we're seeing a shift where people are now opting to actually walk rather than pay for transport. I mean, do you think this trend could become the norm if prices don't stabilize? I mean, looking at this as well, I think over the week, I think it was the FRC that they were appealing to people to normalize, riding bicycles now, as opposed to taking their cars out and all. And we see people walking a lot now, actually. And I saw a report done somewhere in Abuja where drivers said many people now are preferring to walk than actually take transports. It's that bad for a number of people.
I mean, it's not like we have times where we do marathon walks and you realize that, oh, I can actually walk this long distance.
It doesn't seem far to you at that point.
Oh, exactly. But then for someone who is going to work in the morning, you don't want to find yourself doing that kind of marathon walk, right? You want to
Mm,
be, put together, not sweaty, composed basically before you get to work. So obviously that
right.
is not a good way, a means of transportation for someone who has to wake up early as 5, 6, and get to the next destination. It's crazy. But then I remember once upon a time when there was the whole fuel scarcity and there was no bus. It was crazy how people actually didn't mind walking back all the way home. Maybe going back home, you can try it. But early hours of the morning, it's risky for some persons, right? For those who wake up very early in the morning, it's risky. So I don't think that that is a trend that will last for so long. I'm hoping that companies, at least for starters, they would start considering hybrids, which some of companies are already looking at, right? So you just probably get to come to the office
That's right.
once or twice in a week or once, right? For the low income earners, they have to move, right? They have to go to the market to get their goods. They have to transport their goods from one point to another. It's still going to take a toll on those kind of guys, right? Those kind of people will not be trekking to go and carry their goods from one point to another, right? At the end of the day, they'll have to be paying, crazy amount of fare because of transportation to move their goods from one point to another. And the tax force for instance, in Lagos, they are not being fair. Recently, I was passing through a particular area and I saw that tax force guys, they were demolishing shops within a certain environment. I've known those shops to be there for as long as 2, 3 years, if not more, right? And majority of those people, they live within the area. Like their houses are just like a stone throw from there. So they don't really need to worry about transportation. So now when you're demolishing their shops, what do you expect them to do? You want them to move to a better location where they can set up their shop, pay crazy rents for starters, then they have to move from one point to another. It's crazy. We did, and some of these persons, for instance, if you look closely, most of these low income earners are not as agile as we are, they're not as young as we are. They are, on the older side. Do you expect these people to be trekking every day of their life just to make an ends meet? I don't think it's sustainable, and I pray that it doesn't lead to something that affect our health and maybe result into increased death rate or something because of stress and all of that. But anyway, that's just my thought around it.
Hmm. Well, I mean, a lot of physical stress, mental stress as well.
Yeah.
Stress generally is what a number of people are dealing with. Now, let's take messages as we round up on the conversation this morning. Tayo says, the unseen hand of demand and supply influencing one's scale of needs is wounding any creative budget plan. This development with e-hailing apps is not clear. Are they charging lower rates or what? No, they are higher rates because the rates that are on the apps are not favorable to them. So they renegotiate with the
Yeah.
rider for a higher rate, similar to how we have had our classic taxis back then, where you negotiate. Oh, I'm going from Ikeja to VI, and then you negotiate a rate. But
Mm-hmm.
here, negotiating for a rate higher than what is shown in the app. That is where we are
Yeah.
right now. Gilbert Musa says, on the current energy cost on daily living since 1995 and in 2001, some renowned personalities or persons predicted the downturn in our economy if we don't strengthen our institutions. This is the exact result. Our current economic status should not be a surprise to people who kept a tab on our economic pattern since 1988. Was this 1998? No, 1988. Thank you, Gilbert Musa and Tayo, for your message. And thank you so much, Daisy, for joining me this morning on Business Express. It's been a pleasure having you. Hope you are, working hybrid today, not going to the office.
Yes, I am. I
Lucky,
am. Well, thankfully, my
lucky
company
you.
was fair. It was that. Yeah. All
All
right
right,
then.
lucky you. And I hope a
See you
lot of other
tomorrow.
Nigerians out there can, yes, most definitely have yourself a great Monday. Take care. And of course, thank you all for being a part of Business Express this
Bye.
beautiful, beautiful Monday morning right here on Smooth 98.1. The Smooth Breakfast will continue. There's more great music to get you ready to get into the papers on Freshly Pressed at 7:30.